So I got a confession to make, y'all. Couple confessions to make, actually. So when it comes to the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, I never, as far as Marvel characters or just superhero characters in general, I never knew who the fuck they were. Never knew. Never heard anything about them. None of it. And there's been like comic book characters where I see them on screen and I'm like, oh, I might have heard something about them, or I might have saw or heard something about them in passing in regards to another major superhero or something like that. But the Guardians, never heard of them until the movies were in the works, or the first movie was in the works and about to come out. And even when the first movie came out, I was just like, this just doesn't look like something I'm into. I remember constantly trying to get through that first movie, man, and once they were in that prison in the first movie, I could never get past them. I could never get past that part. I don't know what it was. There was times where I wasn't even doing shit around the crib, where I was locked in on the movie, and I found myself never being able to get past that point where they were trying to break out of that prison. So the missus loves these movies, man. She's seen them. We haven't. Me and her haven't seen the third one. But she's seen the first two, and she was like, "Yo, we're going to watch these movies." I was like, "Well, bet we might as well just watch all the Marvel movies just to prep for Doomsday." So we ended up watching Guardians 1, and yesterday we ended up watching Guardians 2. Now, let me say something, man. I live for these moments, yo. I swear I do. Like where I am proven wrong. And I know my listeners, like the podcast listeners, love that shit too, man. Because when I'm talking down on something and they're like, "No, you'll see within time, you'll see," and then I wrap back around and I'm like, you know what? It's one of those let me begin my 3-part apology moments, man. Because Guardians 1 was one thing, finally finishing that movie, and I'm like, oh, like I see why people like this movie, man. It's a feel good, is family friendly for the most part. There's a lot of adult themes in there, but for the most part, it is definitely family friendly. It's kid friendly. The movie looks great. The fucking special. Listen, if I'm talking about the two movies that I've seen, the special effects are cool as shit. The characters are cool. The camaraderie that they not that they have, but that they build together and actually become a family like this, like this misfit family, yo. This nuclear family. I love that shit, man, because these are the most unlikely motherfuckers in the galaxy, like pun intended, that would these are the last people you would expect to form a bond and become a family and just become a squad, man, and just work together. Those are the moments that I love the most in these movies, is where they work together. It's one of the things that I love so much. And we're talking another Marvel movie. It's not MCU, but X-Men Days of Future Past, where we finally got to see the X-Men work together in a way we never saw before. That's what these movies have a lot of, man. Like I said, the special effects are great. The cinematography looks gorgeous. The set pieces, whether they're CG or not, look amazing. The costume design, not just the costume design, but the fucking practical effects that they have on these individual. It takes me back to something like Day of the Dead, where George A. Romero was like, all right, we're not just going to make this zombie blue and this zombie gray and this zombie this and this zombie that. We're going to have appliances to these individual zombies to make them stand out, so people can be like, yo, I like that zombie, or I like this zombie, or I like that zombie. There's so many. Tommy Flanagan, from fucking When a Stranger Calls and All About the Benjamins, like, and Alien vs Predator, and Smoking Aces. If nobody knows Tommy Flanagan, he's a cool character actor. Y'all, black community know him from All About the Benjamins, where he's like, she's not my wife yet, and then he shoots the girl in the fucking head. Like, that's Tommy Flanagan. He's in there. Cheddar Bob from 8 Mile is in there, man. James Gunn's brother, who did the motion capture in the Suicide Squad, which was another James Gunn movie, for Weasel, he's in here. Michael Rooker, Chris Pratt. Let me just say this about Chris Pratt, man. My thoughts are gonna be all over the place, but Chris Pratt's not as bad as I thought he was. I always said that Star Lord, I never cared for his character, all the comedic shit. I'm not here for it. And honestly, another confession I gotta make is in regards to Avengers Infinity War. I always was saying it's Star Lord's fault. He's a bitch and he fucked up the whole agenda. I get it now. I get it, yo. I completely understand because he had the hots for Gamora the moment that they were scuffling over that artifact or whatever it was in that one of those early sequences. So to finally get her when he was wearing her down and he gave her that speech and was like, you know, the TV series where they don't want to fucking make the two characters hook up because the ratings will drop. You know, he was going off. So for him to finally bag Gamora and fall in love with her just to find out Thanos killed her, like, I don't know how I would have reacted. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, that I need to go back and watch Infinity War because he's like, when Thanos is like, I had to, and he's like, no, you didn't, no, you didn't, and Iron Man was pleading with him. He was like, Quill, he's like, we almost got this thing off, man. Do not engage. And he's looking at him. He's like, yo, asshole, tell me you didn't do it. It's like, yo, Quill, I get it, bruh. I understand it now. It's like Lethal Shooter be saying, yo, I understand it now. I get it, man. I love these first two Guardians movies. I do. And I do feel like the third one is going to be on some emotional shit. Like, I don't know if I'm going to cry. I feel like it may be a tearjerker because I've heard things about, like, the story and the direction that they're going. I don't know who dies, but there is a specific story point that I know they're going with in that third movie that's probably going to trigger my emotions because I'm attached to these fucking characters now. Kurt Russell in the second movie was a piece of shit, man, but he is great in that fucking movie, man. And Star-Lord, another thing that happens with Star-Lord is that I understand that he is a guy who acts off impulse a lot of the times because when he finds out what Kurt Russell did, and you know, when it comes to the mom, you know, he was just this, oh, hey, dad, let's play catch and all this other shit with this cosmic ball that we created out of thin air. You know, they have all their moments and shit, and he finds out that, you know, he actually cares about his dad, and he's like, yo, I finally found my family, and Gamora's like, I thought you already had your family, and she walks off, and she just does what she does, you know, just having a fucking attitude. But when he finds out that Ego, I think Kurt Russell's name, ain't shit, and finds out what he did, he just reacts. You know, he blasts him away, yo. Michael Rooker as Yondu is fucking great, man. And you know, Yondu. Spoiler alert, obviously, Yondu's death scene was really sad. But I love the line where he's like, he may have been your father, boy, but he wasn't your daddy, and he makes the sacrifice play. That's something that gets really emotional in the MCU for me. But the movie, I like the second one way better than the first one. And I'm not saying that the first one is bad by any means, but the second one, that's how the fuck you do a sequel. Especially in the MCU, man. Everything was bigger. There's that badass scene, man, where not Gamora, shit. What is her? Nebula. Nebula comes with the ship and she's like fucking Starfighter remix and shit. Like she's like shooting at Gamora and Gamora's just running for her life, but then her ship crashes. Gamora picks up that fucking cannon and is shooting that shit at the ship. Yo, dog, that listen, there's so many great moments in the second movie. Like the second movie definitely stood out. Like the fact that, you know, and they opened up with a bang where that big ass creature is attacking them and Drax is inside of it cutting it up with the knives. Drax and Mantis, their interactions are hilarious, man, because Drax just doesn't know how to not be a fucking asshole. But I swear to God, man, I love these characters. Rocket, Groot had a really sad moment in part two, man. And you know, they were taking advantage of him because he was little, and you felt bad for him because he's just like, he's like that meme where it's like the little cat that's just like walking towards something really angry. But Groot, I know he's going to get bigger in part three and he's going to fuck shit up. But Groot was fucking shit up in this one, man. Like, don't sleep on my boy Groot, man. He might have 3 lines throughout the course of the entire movie, but we understand his struggle for sure. Like these movies are so cool. These movies are so great. I think I give both of them maybe like a 9 out of 10. I can't really say what I mean. It's little things that keep it from a full 10, but I love these movies now, yo. I genuinely do, and I can't wait to see the third one. And I don't necessarily know where they're gonna pop up again, but I have made a complete 360 with these Guardians movies, and I love these types of moments where I'm just like, yo, man, I like this now. I was completely wrong about it, but yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy, man. You know, for a property that nobody really knew about and wasn't super popular in the Marvel universe, they did their thing with this shit, man. Shout out to James Gunn for this because these movies were definitely fun to watch for sure.